In the shed we've got this Yamaha Kodiak 400cc. I keep wanting to call it a big bear, but that perhaps a larger cc version. But it isn't exactly an interesting history, but it's got that's the age of it. So this has been on a neighbour's farm and not used a whole lot. I'm not saying it was underused, but well, there wasn't a tractor at that place. They only needed to use a quad bike really. But it had a fertiliser spreader on the back, and as a result there's some quite bad corrosion on the rear grab thing, because even if you were careful about getting every bit of fertiliser off it, there'd be some sort of sticky residue, and there is some corner there is quite badly corroded. Can you see that? It's a bit dark on there, but it's not desperate. Plenty of life in it yet, and I think mainly due to it being just stood a while, there was a few things seized up and or not working very well, and it had that all looks in fact remarkably clean and how it should be now, but there was a lot of extra wiring and things under there which was all corroded up as well, so that's been removed, and all the fluids changed. We think that the gearbox oil, because on these it's not like a motorbike, there's the engine and the gear oil are separate, and we don't think the gear oil has been changed from new, which is like 20 some years ago, about 20 years, I'll forget, I'll work that out later. So it's a bit troubling how rusty it is under there, but there's nothing really structurally too worrying. In fact, we're thinking we might just cover it all in wax oil and call this a job, rather than try to paint that as such, because there's too many fiddly bits. You're already making it a cosmetic thing, whereas if you cover it in wax oil it won't be too bad. So anyway, that's be more or less back on the road today. The wheels are off it because he wanted to give them a really good clean up and polish, because they sort of spoiled the look of it more than anything else, to be fair. So the tyres are off the rims, and the wheels are being refurbished a bit, but just by himself, like scrub them up and paint them with a rattle can or something. So that might not be done today, put the wheels back on, but other than that, we're ready to go, I think, after today. Well, that's about it, really. I'm part of doing this because I wanted to sort of remind myself what they did at it. And see, you don't see this very often, like there's another tax disc on it. Was that the last year of tax discs? I'm not sure really. It's farm registered, so it's got a tax disc. There's no charge. I think to get reverse you must have to use. I've never actually really had a chance to properly sit on it either yet, but I suppose that's a reverse gear thing. And he was having problems with his there's no clutch on these, it's just for non-quad bike people. You just change, it's like a motorbike style shift, but you just, by putting a slight pressure on it, it releases the pressure on the drive, and it goes up to the next gear. It's hard to describe, but you just snick up between the gears without any clutch. But he said it was quite reluctant to go either up or down. Honestly, I've forgotten again really what he said exactly. But in the lower gears, it was quite reluctant to do anything as he wanted it to do. So we're hoping that might be improved just from having that oil changed. Because if that is still an issue, it could be something like bent selectors inside from it being stiff. So I think that's quite unlikely. I think it's more likely to be improved by the oil change, and maybe where the gear lever goes into the gearbox could have done with a good lubrication just to make sure everything's free.